Where do I sit? Do I sit anywhere? I don't know where to sit.
Either right there, fine, either way.
Where's this? I don't know whose stuff this is.
Put their stuff there.
I don't know.
Is that Terry's? Is that your stuff, Terry?
Whose stuff is this?
Larry, give me the 1 minute. The 1 minute call. Good afternoon. Yeah.
You see a boost? I have a boost down
Just
there?
put that stuff right here.
This on? No boost. This on?
I thought he was asking me if I needed a boost chair. What are you talking about?
I don't know whose stuff that is.
I'm not gonna say you need one of those, okay?
Hey, Miss
How are you
Duffield.
this
I know I'm short.
You gotta go to that leadership meeting.
Okay, here we go.
Go on that leadership.
All right, we're finna get started.
Okay, yeah, your daughter's been helping me out.
And God said it was gonna come, I don't see it.
It wasn't it for now. Mary McKenna sits here.
Mary McKenna's gonna
Yes,
take
but
that
she's
spot.
not here tonight.
Good afternoon. It is June 25th, 2019, a little after 5:30. I'd now like to call this meeting to order with the invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilwoman Ms. Terry Salter. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another beautiful day you have created. We come to you asking you to continue to guide us and keep us. Thank you for all that you are doing and yet to do. There is no doubt, gracious God, that you are smiling on Orange. Please continue to bless us as we do our best collectively to move Orange forward in a positive direction. We ask, God, that you continue to watch over us all, and we are going to be careful to give you always all the praise and all the glory in everything that we do. Bless those that desire to be here. Bless those who have tuned in and everyone that is here. May your grace cover us all the days of our lives. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Council Member Salter, and thank you all for staying. I thought we were going to lose everybody, but we appreciate it. On to item 3, motion. Item 3, a motion finding that the advanced posting and notice requirements of Article 8.1200 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Orange, Texas have been met in relation to all minutes and pending ordinances and resolutions on this agenda, and that the reading of such items be confined to the captions as are agreed upon by the ordinances and resolutions. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approval of minutes, April 2nd, 2019, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 4B, May 28th, 2019, Orange Economic Development Corporation meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 4C, June 11th, 2019, regular city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Belfield. On to item 5, canvass results of the June 15th, 2019 runoff election. 5A, appoint a committee of 2 city council members to canvass the returns of the runoff election held in the city of Orange, Texas on the 15th day of June 2019. Committee members will canvass returns inside Orange Public Library. At this time, I'd like to ask for Brad Childs and Paul Birch to please head over and canvass the results. And so we will take a short recess while they do such, and we will reconvene once they are done.
I'm glad you didn't pick me because I wouldn't have come back.
Let's see if they got any wires in here.
I'm not gonna get many times to fuss at Miss Anderson for putting all those pages in our agenda. Yeah, thank you. You had to open it. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have a sleeves last night. That's what put you on there. That he's got a jerk the first time. Drank some cold water. This happened a few times. There, I was fussing the sandwiches.
All right, how are you tonight? Good. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Why does this never happen when it's a girl's? Oh, what a great project. Right, right, it's bad news. Yeah, usually a cut of that size, there's something really controversial on it. Well, there's not that much risk to have.
Believe me, I've been there before.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna really like it.
And it's not like we're committing millions of dollars.
Emergency bag, that's neat.
Okay, we will now reconvene in open session. with item 6, resolutions. Consider a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the runoff election held in the city of Orange, Texas on the 15th day of June, 2019. Resolution states that a resolution canvassing the returns and declaring the results of the runoff election held in the city of Orange, Texas on the 15th day of June, 2019. Whereas there was held in the city of Orange, Texas on the 15th day of June 2019, a runoff election at which were submitted to the duly qualified residents, electors of said city, the following candidates for city offices, and it was found after being officially canvassed that the votes were cast as follows, to wit: results of runoff election held June 15th, 2019. Place 4, single member, District 4, total votes: Annette Purnell, 68, Mary McKenna, 141. Place 5 at large, total votes: Bill Mello, 132, Carolyn Mazzola Hennigan, 333. The total ballots cast were 489, and whereas a total of 489 ballots were cast in said election, and whereas Mary McKenna received a majority of the votes for Place 4, single member District 4, and Carolyn Mazzola Hennigan received a majority of the votes for Place 5 at large, and whereas said election was duly called and notice therefore given in accordance with law, only duly qualified resident electors of said city voted at said election. The election was held in the manner required by law. Returns of the election have been canvassed by the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, that a majority of voters elected Mary McKenna for Place 4, single member District 4, and Carolyn Mazzola Hennigan for Place 5 at large. That it appears to the City Council that Mary McKenna and Carolyn Mazzola Hennigan are qualified under the Charter of the City of Orange, Texas, to hold office and hereby declared to be elected to such office. In the event any provision of this election resolution is inconsistent with provisions of the Texas Election Code pertaining to municipal actions or incomplete, the provisions of the Election Code of the State of Texas shall apply. Passed, approved, and adopted on this day of June 2019, Larry Spears Jr. Okay, before we canvass the election and move forward to the oath of office, I'd like to take a moment to recognize a man that is very special to each and every one of us, Mr. Bill Mello. The City of Orange would like to present Bill Mello with a plaque in appreciation for dedicated service as council member for the City of Orange, Texas, 2009 to 2019. Bill, before I give you this, I just wanted to tell you how much I personally appreciate you, how much I love you. I remember when I first took seat in place 6 next to you, people used to say, "Why does that guy always nudge you? Is he telling you what to do?" And I would say, no, he's sharing tidbits of his knowledge with me, showing me how things work. And from the very first meeting till today, you've always been inspiring, encouraging, motivating, helpful, loving. And even when I had a plumbing problem, you were ready to get under there and dig my house out. So I just want to say publicly that I appreciate you and I love you. And I thank you for all your years of service. Thank you.
Likes being in that position and doing the things that it takes to be a good mayor, and he chases everything that it takes. He likes working with kids. He's been coming up with a lot of good ideas. Some of them I wish I would have thought of. He's doing excellent.
I never heard that one. If there is anyone else that would like to say something on Bill's behalf, please speak now.
Not be
I would like
careful
to say
doing that.
I would like to just say, believe it or not, all of us up here, we come together collectively to make decisions and you know, with the help of everyone here in the city. But we really become like a family up here. And so, Bill, we all love you. And we will all, you know, we will continue to pray for you as well. And I'll be at your house. I'm not going anywhere. And you know, we just love you, you know.
I need all the prayers I can get.
Yes, sir.
We won't stop doing that.
Bill, I just want you to know I couldn't have done the seat without you. Thank you for your guidance, all your tips, all your nudging, everything Mayor said. And like I said, I told you when I walked in, I love you, man.
Yes.
Bill, well, you were a pretty good councilman. I have to say that I heard more about you being a citizen of Orange, a goodwill neighbor, and a human being. I spoke to so many people that spoke so highly of you that you have helped them when, you know, you didn't claim that you did this.
You're gonna mess up my reputation.
Sir, you've already done that. But no, it was an honor to be on the council with you, and we will miss you dearly, but we will always be there as friends and family. We
Well,
love you.
I have only been on the council a short time, so I haven't got to work with you very long, but I too have been nudged and poked, and so I can attest to it. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we will move forward to conduct ceremonies for newly elected council.
We need a motion and vote.
We have-
You've got to go back and actually take, you have to have a motion.
A
and
motion
second
before.
before you can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys. Do I have a motion?
You have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. We just got a little emotional, my bad. On to item 7, conduct ceremonies for newly elected council member. For the oath of office, council member place 5 at large, Ms. Mazola Hennigan and Mr. George Barron. Yes, sir, that's fine. Here, let me get a picture of that for you. Hold on one second. There we go. That's it? Yes, sir. She will come around. I'm going to give you a certificate, and then we'll let her take a seat.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have the certificate of election. The certificate of election in the name and by the authority of the City of Orange, Texas. This is to certify that a runoff election held on June 15th, 2019, Carolyn Mazzola Hennigan was duly elected council member for Place 5 at large. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto signed my name and caused the seal of the City of Orange, Texas to be affixed this, the 25th day of June, 2019. Ms. Hennigan, is there anything you'd like to say, or are you going to wait till the end?
Yeah, let's get going.
We'll keep going, okay. Okay. On to item 8, discussion action. 8A, consider a motion appointing a mayor pro tem.
I move to make Terry Salter the next mayor pro tem.
We have a motion for Terry Salter. Do I have a second?
I would like to nominate Paul Birch.
Well, do we have a,
To do the
we'll
circle.
go in order. Do we have a second?
Can I do a, I can do the move, I can't second.
Right. Do we have a second? You second yourself?
You
Second
second
myself?
yourself.
I could second myself, I guess.
Okay. We
I
have a
don't know.
motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
You have to, I think we'll all have to raise our hand, won't we? Show of hands.
Go for him. You can vote for yourself.
Okay. That's 3.
Motion fails.
Okay, that
Unless
motion
they vote
fails.
majority.
Our next nomination.
I would like to nominate Councilman Birch.
Okay.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say, or raise your hand.
Motion fails.
Motion fails. Okay. We got to go to another one.
I don't think you'll have a different outcome, but. And I move that we wait till Marion McKenna is sworn in, so we'll have.
The city charter requires that you elect a mayor pro tem at the first meeting after the election. That's a charter requirement.
Okay.
Okay. So we have any other motions? Okay, so what do we do now if we're stalled out?
You got to make a motion, and you got to get a second, and you got to get 4 votes to complete the issue.
There's gotta be something to where.
So who's next?
Nominate Pullen again for mayor pro tem.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
We have a motion for current Mayor Pro Tem Pat Pullen. We have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor, raise your hand.
Okay.
There we go. We got 4. Okay. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Part 2, Patrick Pullen. Yeah. Okay, now that we're through with that, on to item 9, citizen comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker, and your comments are appreciated. As the Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to respond to items not listed on the agenda, your comments will be duly noted by the council and forwarded to the appropriate department for prompt consideration. At this time, the first name I have on my list is the Honorable Miss Essie Belfield. And you have 3 minutes, Miss Belfield. Miss Belfield gonna take about 15.
No.
To the council and everybody here. This is a charter. I've been reading since 1960. All of you need to have a city charter to know what it's all about. And this is what I've been reading all the time. Now, I'm here because they said something about changing the name on Simmons Drive. I refuse to accept that because Simmons Drive was named after Byron Simmons. Y'all don't know it. And Byron Simmons was the one that named that street. That street ran all the way down to, used to be Green Avenue. And Green Avenue stopped right there, and there was a bridge to cross over to go to Louisiana. And half of you don't know a thing about it. But do not mess with Simmons Drive. Please do not mess with that name, because he's done a lot in the city. In the city, he has done things with the streets here. And I do want to thank y'all for allowing me to say that. But you need to learn what to do. This is a charter. I've been having this since 1960. You have to know what's going on in the city. You just can't get up and pop up and say, I'm here. Because there's a lot in here you need to know. And you need to get you a charter so you can see what's going on. And I refuse, that's good. I refuse to have Simmons Drive changed, because it's named after Byron Simmons. And if you want to know who he is, there was a picture in the one of the finance place with his picture on it, but I don't have a picture of it. So please do not mess with Simmons Drive. It go all the way to Green Avenue. And when we got to Green Avenue, there's Buckley had a business on that corner. And you couldn't go across because there was a river and a bridge. And that you don't know about the history of Orange, you need to know about it before you try to change your name. Thank you.
Okay, the next name, I'm sorry, it looks like it's Norman Saunier.
Hello, my name is Norman Saunier. I live at 2302 North 8th Street. I've been in this town for 67 years, y'all. I lived in Riverside for 15 years. I've been down Simmons Drive. I worked at Livingston Shipyard. That was the #1 commodity producer of orange. Livingston Shipyard, but they had to close it down because nobody wanted to pick it up. Simmons Drive was the main drag to Livingston Shipyard, American Bridge. Y'all got to understand that. like Ms. Belfield say, y'all don't understand history. What's history to people? History nothing to y'all, because y'all don't know what it is, Mr. Spears. I want to ask you one question. Where's the businesses in the city of Orange? Where can you buy clothes? You always say, shop Orange. How can you shop Orange when there's nothing here? We got one Horseman store. We got a Bright Good thing on 87 clothes. Where's the other clothes business? We got to go to Walmart. That's West Orange. Any other place? We need, you say shop here. Where can we shop here, y'all? That's common sense. There's nothing to shop here for. Oh, we got Home Depot. Thanks to Harrington Rita in 05, they built Home Depot here because they wanted it to come here because they knew they're going to make business here. They're going to make money here. It's all about money, y'all. That's the problem with this city. It's all about money. Changing the name ain't going to do no good. Sell Riverside. You never going to do nothing with it. The plan that you grew up, y'all no telling how much that costs. No telling how much that costs. For what? It's never gonna happen. Y'all ought to know that. People ought to know that in this town. For God's sake, wake up, y'all. If you want somebody to come here, put some business, get the Chamber of Commerce to get on their lazy butt, excuse my friend, to bring jobs in here. That's what they're for.
There's no need to scream. You can
use my French, like I said. But like I said, y'all don't care. All y'all want to do is what y'all want to do. That's the whole thing. Whatever y'all want to do, y'all vote on. You don't act the city people. We can come up here like I'm talking till my head turns blue. Y'all not going to listen to any of us. Y'all mind is made up. Y'all gonna do, but it better not be made up, because there's an election. I guarantee you, there's an election next year. You better not change Simmons Drive name, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. The next person on the list is Hillary Gravitt.
Good evening. I just want to ask everyone to please mark your calendars for the July 4th concert and fireworks celebration that will be held next Thursday at the Riverfront Boardwalk and Pavilion. The event will open to the public at 5 p.m. and the celebration will begin with live entertainment by Greg Martinez and the Delta Kings. A spectacular fireworks display will begin at 9 p.m. immediately following the concert. And additional information for this event can be found at the Orange Convention Visitors Bureau Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Henry Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Henry Lowe, 106 West Dewey Avenue in the great city of Orange. As we know, hurricane season has started. And something crossed my mind. I know that we now have emergency set up by the 1442, and all our elected officials would be going there if there was a tornado or a hurricane. And I've got to think, what about us that live in the Navy Park and other areas? Do we have a warning system to warn us of a tornado, like most cities that live in this hurricane tornado area? We need it if we don't have one, because I'd like to get a chance to move out also. So that's all I had to say. I had never heard a siren or anything go off during the years that I've been back here.
Yes, sir.
So I would like to take that under consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Okay, with that being said, I will close and move on to item 10, presentations. Presentation regarding grants from Dow Chemical to the City of Orange, Texas. Ms. Stacy Gautreaux.
Well, thank you for adding this to the agenda this evening. And I actually brought this for a prop and would have never put it on, you know, out of respect for the council, but I think I'm going to go ahead given the situation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this cap on. I wanted to say, my name is Stacy Gautreaux with Dow. And when we moved into town earlier this year, it was important to us to really meet the community where they live. And so it was very interesting that when I called Mayor Spears to take me around town and let's visit and get to know one another, our first stop on a late January day, very cold and breezy, he took me to Memorial Park. And we actually have pictures of us sitting there on the bleachers talking about how important that park is to the city of Orange. And what struck me about that park was it was very apparent that that's where children and families of Orange rally. And he had some beautiful memories as a child. And throughout that day, as we toured Orange, everyone we met asked us where we had been. And when we would say Memorial Park, they had such fond memories. But what struck me was, because of Harvey and what Harvey tried to do, it didn't symbolize the resilient community that Orange is. We have been so welcomed by the city of Orange. What I've come to love is it's not necessarily the current infrastructure. I know you're rebuilding. It's the people that have made this city resilient. And so what Dow would like to do tonight, and Ms. Jean Allgate is with me, our site director from Sabine River Operations. She's been so gracious to let me make this donation because it's been on my heart and my mind ever since that January day we sat there in the cold. Dow would like to make a $50,000 contribution to the city of Orange to enhance Memorial Park, to work on the maintenance, to rebuild that park so that it symbolizes who you really are and who we've come to know. We thank you for welcoming our employees and our families here, and we're looking forward to playing a lot of ball with you on that park. And not only are we going to contribute $50,000 to that park, and I believe that some of the sports organizations that use that park,
Yes, ma'am.
but Dow is also going to invest 100 volunteer hours.
Wow.
And the reason for that number is we want to show this city that we're 100% in living, working, and playing here.
Wow.
All right, thank you.
Not the ball field, but I'm fixing to throw you the first down pitch. So are you ready?
I gotta get this.
You better be ready.
I'll make it.
And our Dow team, Connie and Chrissy and Jean, have some more.
That's why you're there.
That's cute.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Play ball.
Thank you so much.
That's cute. That's cute.
That was so uncalled for. Well, before we move on to the next, I want to thank the Dow Corporation for immediately moving in and making an impact. When we spoke about the donation several months ago, Ms. Gautreaux said I had to wait until they were ready to make the announcement, but it was just amazing. I mean, $50,000.
Wow.
That is remarkable. And so please give them another round of applause. And I love them too because I work for Dow as well. So definitely going to give them all the plugs I can.
Hey, Mayor.
Well, yes.
Memorial Dow.
Memorial Dow Field. There you go. Yes. Yes. Well, thank you. And we'll move on to item 10B, presentation regarding hurricane preparedness. Ms. Brown.
Mayor, council, members of the community, thanks for being here. As we all know, unfortunately, it's hurricane season, and I've heard a couple people speak about hurricane season being prepared. And just want to let you know that the city is not. We do prepare all year, but I kind of want to give the community an opportunity to see what they can do to prepare themselves. So be prepared now. Don't wait. You need to make a plan. Know where you're going. If you need assistance with any type of evacuation, whether it's special needs or you just need a ride, it's called STEER, or State of Texas Emergency Assistance Registry, and you can do that by dialing 211, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions. It's all volunteer, and it's all the information is kept private, but that information gets to us, and in the event that we call for an evacuation, then we'll have your information and we can come pick you up and we'll take you to the embarkation area, which is Lamar State College Orange. So what we want to do though is, in the event of a hurricane, what you really want to do is start paying attention when something gets in the Gulf. Now, I know what you think is if it's on Facebook, it has to be true, correct? That's not true. There's a lot of people out there that will put information on there, and it's almost like a scare tactic, just trying to scare people. They'll put some models out there that show it's coming directly to our area. Make sure that you're looking at reliable sources. The national weather.gov out of Lake Charles, that is our local. And then the National Hurricane Center, you can Google both of those. You can also like the Hurricane Center on Facebook, as well as the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles on Facebook as well. And then pay attention to your local channels, our 4, 6, and 12 that we have here. One thing that they've gotten better at is the projected landfall, where these storms are going to hit. What they have not gotten better at is their intensity. They had that last year with Michael. It went from a tropical storm to a Cat 4 hurricane in 48 hours. So, you know, for Florida, unfortunately for them, there was just no time to evacuate that many people. So I suggest everybody makes a go kit. And this is just a 5-gallon bucket that you can see how much stuff I put in that 5-gallon bucket, and it wasn't full. You can do that for each member of your family. The only thing that you have to add to that would be some water. But that is, you put non-perishable foods in there and stuff that you don't need immediately. So if you do have to evacuate, you can grab that. It's easy to pack. You put a lid on it. It'll go in your car so it doesn't take up much space. If you have a pet, just make sure that you're putting stuff in there for your pet as well. There's stuff in there, extra batteries, extra charger for your phone, towels, stuff like that. So you can kind of make your kit, design it for your own needs. There's a flashlight in there, and there's also a first aid kit. So what happens if we call for a mandatory evacuation? Well, Texas doesn't necessarily have a mandatory evacuation. What that means is that if we call for an evacuation, we're not going to come arrest you if you don't evacuate. But what it does mean is that in the height of the storm, you dial 911, we may not be able to get to you, so you're on your own. So when we call for an evacuation, we're thinking it's in your best interest, especially if you live in a low-lying area. You know if you flood or not, so it's best if you get out. So where are you going to go? I know the map's kind of hard to see, but for Orange, you're going to go up 87 or Highway 62, and you're going to go north. There's going to be police in the area that will direct you in that area, and if you try to come back, they're probably not going to let you turn around and come back. So that is our evacuation routes. I suggest if you can, have a place to go before you ever start out. Just make sure if you have friends that live north of where we are, that maybe you can stay with them, and make sure that you take care of your pets as well. If you decide that you're not going to evacuate and you're going to stay here, make sure you're self-sufficient for 3 days, because it may be 3 days before we can get to you. So make sure you have enough water and food, non-perishable food, flashlight, stuff like that. You can actually go in and buy your water now. When we talked about the Go Kit, if you go in and get your water now, that way it won't go bad. At the end of the season, you can just drink it. So as talked about earlier, one of the embarkation areas is Lamar State College Orange, and that's where all the state buses will come if you need to ride to a shelter. There's 2 of those. There's one here in the city of Orange, and there's one in the city of Batter. So you can go to either location. If you need a ride to those locations, we will get you to those locations and get you on the bus and get you out safely. You'll be taken to the state shelter via state buses, which is, we've all seen those. Those are the big Greyhound stock buses, so they're comfortable. So just in closing, I can't express the need for y'all to just be prepared now, make a plan. You know, we preach that on all emergency situations, but especially, you know, for hurricane season, we don't want to wait till the last minute and everybody be scrambling. Appreciate your time.
Chief Brown.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
Chief Brown, how many storms are predicted?
They don't have an actual number. They say this year, because we're in El Nino, I think is what they say, which is supposed to be lower than normal. But all it takes is one storm to come up in your, you know, in your backyard. Harvey was an El Nino year. So when Harvey actually hit us as a tropical storm, not even as a hurricane, you saw the damage that it did.
Man. Well, thank you, Deputy Chief Brown. We appreciate you. It's always great to be prepared. This is just a small tidbit of what you do. I've had the pleasure of watching you work with Ms. Carmen Apple, and I know that you have us ready to go in case of a situation. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item 11, public hearing. Conduct a public hearing to receive comments on the proposed activity of clearance and demolition, which is a part of the city's 2017 Annual Action Plan of Community Development Block Grant Program, demolition of 15 substandard and dilapidated residential structures, and clearance of those properties. 4 of the 15 are located in the 100-year floodplain, and 13 of the 15 triggers Section 106 review because of age. Address and location of properties will be read aloud. Ms. Perry.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. This is a public hearing to receive public comments on the following properties. These properties are subject to Section 106 review or located in the 100-year floodplain. (105) West Orange Avenue, which is 86 years old, located in the Old Orange Historic District and located in the 100-year floodplain. 405 Arkansas Avenue, which is 68 years old and located in the 100-year floodplain. 410 Crepe Myrtle, which is 60 years old. 904 Arkansas Avenue, which is located in the 100-year floodplain. 1507 West Inwood, which is 64 years old. 1512 Chapman Street, which is 69 years old. 1720 West Church Street, which is 72 years old. 2106 North 8th Street, which is 69 years old. 2304 Riverside Drive, which is 78 years old. 2313 North 8th Street, which is 77 years old. 2319 Riverside Drive, which is 69 years old. 2419 McKee Drive, which is 64 years old. 2421 McKee Drive, which is 64 years old. And 3862 Cochran, which I apologize, I don't have the age of that one, but it is over 45 years old.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. At this time, it is a public hearing, so is there anyone who would like to make a comment on these structures?
Mayor, as far as the structures in my district, I want the public to know that we're not kicking people out of their house. These are dilapidated homes that are a danger to their neighbors. I know for a fact that we have contacted the owner and the owner's son after the owner's passing on the one on Crepe Myrtle, and no action has been taken on it for 10 years. So we have to take action on things like that in order to protect the neighbors of those houses, because they are, even though they have the electrical pulled, they still have transients and things that go in the house can cause a house fire.
Okay. Yes, sir.
we need to.
Ms.
Mayor-
Perry, he wants to know, these houses that are being torn down by the city, are they put up for auction?
No, yeah, no, sir, they are substandard houses that
Well, I mean-
we're demolishing and everything, so they're not economically repairable.
Okay, I thought maybe he meant the property afterwards. You mean the house before it's demolished?
Right.
Will the land be put up for bid?
No, sir, the city does not take possession of the land itself. We're only removing the nuisance. Now, we place a lien on the property to recover our costs for the demolition expense, but we do not take actual ownership of the land. That ownership stays with the landowner.
With the landowner, okay?
Yes, sir.
And the mowing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to comment? This is actually a good program. Thank you, Ms. Perry, for the update. This gives us a chance to remove those homes that have become unsightly, unusable, the ones that people come and complain about, because we definitely want to continue to move forward and be progressive. And so thank you again for all your hard work. Okay. Okay, on to item 12, final reading. Consider an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, disannexing property owned by Chevron Phillips Chemical Company, L.P., located within the corporate boundaries of the City of Orange, Orange County, Texas, providing for the following findings of fact, effective date, filing, severability, and proper notice and meeting. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir. This is the second reading of the ordinance to disannex that property that Chevron Phillips has actually purchased and requested that we disannex so that they can create a county reinvestment zone for that area. And
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. This ordinance is definitely a move by the city to do any and everything possible to ensure that we are a top finalist in the site location for Chevron Phillips. On to item 12B, first reading. Consider an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, amending the future land use map by designating as commercial property the 1.285 acre tract of land lying in the Claiborne West Survey, abstract number 27, Orange County, Texas, being out of and a part of that called a 2.50 acre tract of land described in an instrument to JMJR Investments, LLC, of record in clerk's file number 329200 of the official public records of Orange County, Texas, providing a severability clause, providing an effective date, repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, and other matters. Mr. Knopf.
yes, sir. Whenever the city annexes property or rezones property, we check to see if it's compatible with the future land use map. In this case, the property lied outside the city limits, so we annexed it into the city and established the zoning for that. So in order to keep the future land use map current, we bring ordinances to you to amend that map to where we're current, and the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this, and they recommend approval.
I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. On to item 12C. Consider an ordinance of the City of Orange, Texas, approving the rates proposed by CenterPoint Energy, Texas, Gas, CenterPoint or Company's Gas Reliability Infrastructure Program, filing made the city on March 28, 2019, finding that the meeting complies with the Open Meetings Act, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, and declaring an effective date. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir. CenterPoint Energy, under the Gas Reliability Infrastructure Program, can request rate increases or actually implement rate increases to make sure that they have sufficient funding to replace natural gas infrastructure under state law. And then a couple of months ago, we suspended any action on this to give our consultants time to see if the rate increase was consistent with state law. And our consultants have reviewed the rate increase, and it does comply with state law. So they recommend approval.
Okay. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 12D, consider an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, amending the Orange Code of Ordinances, Appendix A, Article 2.000, Section 2.100, Building Permit Fees, amending Appendix A, Article 2.000, Section 2.400, Mechanical Permit Fees, establishing an effective date, establishing a severability clause, repealing all ordinance in conflict with this ordinance, and other matters. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir. Because of recent actions by the Texas legislature to pass a law, and the governor signed the law prohibiting residential structures from being based on a valuation basis. And that is what our residential properties were based on. So we had to scramble. We actually suspended collecting any building permit fees until we could amend the ordinance to come into compliance with the state law. The ordinance before you assesses or determines the building permit fee on a square footage basis, which is allowable under state law. And when we sent out your agenda packet, Councilman Childs found an inconsistency in what we'd sent out. So he advised us of that, and we appreciate that very much. And then we also looked at other sections, and there were some sections that needed to be updated in the current building code. So at your council places is a marked up copy showing from what went out in your agenda packet, the additions which are underlined and the deletions which are struck through. And these fees, we couldn't get them to where they would be exactly what we charge under the valuation basis. So there's a little bit more than what we charge under the valuation basis. It's just the difference in methodologies between valuation and square footage. And so Mr. Reynolds and I have looked at this ordinance, and the clean copy that is on your council places is the ordinance we recommend that you adopt to bring us into compliance with state law.
Mayor, sticking with state law and the changes that were submitted to us, I motion we accept it as the changes.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the change. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13A. Consider a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orange, Texas, adopting a vision statement for the adjacent properties along 16th Street from Green Avenue to Clark Lane. Mr. Nall.
Yes, sir. We have had a couple of public meetings to receive input from the public about 16th Street, its condition, people's impression of it, ideas for improving 16th Street to make it more clean and inviting and attractive to both visitors and businesses that are an asset to the community. Whenever we look at an area and try to make improvements to it, it's always helpful to have a vision statement. And the vision statement is basically a statement as far as what are we trying to achieve. And then from the vision statement will come goals, ordinances, objectives. But I think it's very helpful to have a vision statement that as we're developing subsequent actions, ordinances and goals, to occasionally refer back to it to remind ourselves what are we trying to achieve. And this vision statement went before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that you adopt the vision statement for 16th Street that is in front of you.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Item 13B, consider a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute change order number 1 with Duhon Construction LLC for the boat ramp boardwalk repair project. Mr. Wolf.
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you. Included in this year's budget was a capital improvement project that addressed our boat ramp boardwalk and our walkway bridge behind Cooper's Gully. Many of you enjoy that walkway bridge as well as the boardwalk and all of the activities that we do. Originally, those structures were built in 2005, and so they've lasted a good while, but it was time to redo them. So this year's budget, council approved the rehab of those projects. While the projects are under construction, we have an opportunity to do, because we got such a good low bid to begin with, around $59,000, we have an opportunity to do a little bit more work to those structures. We had a budget of $80,000, and we would like to execute a change order that has 30 days of contract time and about $4,600 to the contract amount. We want to modify the ends of the walkway bridge. We want to rehab them, make them look new like everything else. So we were unsure if we could afford to do that to begin with. We see now we can, so we would like to add it by change order. And we recommend this change order for that project.
Yeah, I've visited down there several times here since it's taken place, and the residents are very happy to see it, and it looks really good. It looks very good. So I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 13C. Consider a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute change order number 1 with C&A Lone Star Flooring for the flooring for city facility located at 812 16th Street, Orange, Texas. Mr. Wolf.
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you. This was a change order actually that's been processed or approved by our interim city manager back around June the 7th. We had to act in a short time fashion, if you will, to keep the contractor working rather than issue a stop work order and wait until this council meeting. So by state law, he has the approving authority to do that. He did that, in an effort to keep the contractor working. The original contract time for the flooring in the new city hall was 25 days because we had some delays to him actually being able to do that day in, day out. We wanted and needed to add 30 days to the contract. So this simply brings to you the fact that we did that, that the city manager did that with the authority that he had, and we approved it.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13D. Consider a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute change order number 1 with Elite Contractors and Equipment LTD for the repair of Owens Road Large Box Culverts Project. Mr. Wolf.
Yes, Mayor. The Owens Road project is one of our FEMA rehab projects. It was an existing culvert that was severely damaged during the hurricane event. It was inspected by FEMA. They wrote the project up, presuming and assuming they could rehab or we could reuse the precast concrete box segments that formulated a double barrel 10x8 culvert. When our contractor got in and started doing the work and uncovering the backfill and bedding, it was determined that the precast boxes were damaged severely and we could not reuse them. So the change order addresses the removal of those boxes, the precast boxes, the disposal of those boxes, and then the forming of and casting in place the new concrete covers. And that's what the additional cost is for.
Okay.
And we recommend approval for that.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13E. Consider a resolution authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with Orange County Navigation and Port District for concrete road repairs and improvements to Pier Road, Orange, Texas. Mr. Wolf.
Yes, Mayor. This is a situation where our Pier Road, it's quite an old road adjacent to the levee along the Sabine River, undergoes heavy traffic amounts that turn down Harry Reid. The trucks turn off of Simmons, they turn on to Harry Reid, and then they enter on Pier Road. They turn and run north to the different entities where they're headed towards. The Port of Orange owns the property, but we, the city of Orange, we own the road, Pier Road. So we operate and maintain the road. And in a joint offering, I guess you'd say, an agreement that we worked out with the board, and we need to have it documented as far as an interlocal agreement, is that I offered to break out the bad sections of concrete. I offered to form it up, the city would, with our crews, and the concrete that would be poured, the major cost of it would be reimbursed by the board. So this interlocal agreement provides for that arrangement.
Mr. Wolf, great deal. I bet, do you know how much it's going to run, roughly, project?
The cost of the concrete?
Well, before we divide the price up with the port, what's the total rough?
We'll do it with our crews and our equipment, and we'll do segments at a time. We'll do incremental segments. There's one particular bad spot directly in front of the old Naval Reserve Center, and I suspect with our crew, as far as time goes with our crews, the material and the equipment and labor, probably a period of anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks.
Okay.
It may not be continuous, but accumulated it could be that way.
I've been on the road, it's pretty rough. I make a motion, we accept.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13F, consider a resolution authorizing and directing interim city manager Kelvin Knopf to submit on behalf of the City of Orange a disaster recovery program grant application to the Texas General Land Office in the amount of $7,922,687 for disaster recovery from Hurricane Harvey. Mr. Greg Wabi.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This item is a resolution authorizing the submittal of a grant application to the Texas General Land Office for infrastructure-related projects. The total of this grant application is $7.9 million. We're asking for your consideration.
I will pay the postage myself. Yes, I'll make a motion.
Second. I'll second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 13G. Consider a resolution authorizing and directing interim city manager Kelvin Knopf to submit on behalf of the City of Orange a disaster recovery program grant application to the Texas General Land Office in the amount of $3,204,462 for disaster recovery from Hurricane Harvey. Mr. Wabi.
Yes, sir. Like the previous one, this is the second of two applications that were developed under the Community Development Block Grant for disaster recovery. Like the previous one, it does ask for council's resolution.
I will make. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Wabi.
Mr. Wabi, I just have a question. What was the purpose for separate requests?
That was the structure requested by the Texas General Land Office. Two similar programs, slightly different dynamics, and so they did ask for a separate grant application for each one.
Okay, thank you. We can't thank you enough for the work you do for the City of Orange.
Yes, sir. I'd like to compliment also, council, of course, but also city staff has just been tremendous.
Great.
Head city staff across the board. There's no way that this would be possible without them.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, on item 14A, consider a motion approving action taken by the Orange Economic Development Corporation concerning accepting a 20-acre land tract donation at Eagle Point located south of IH-10 and east of Highway 62 from Ms. Gisela Hausman Kilimanjaro Corporation for a proposed Gisela Hausman Medical Complex and for the purpose of economic development. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir, Mayor. So this is a follow-up to the very detailed presentation that was made earlier at the EDC meeting. I think most everyone was here for that. It is a proposed medical complex. This formal action approves the motion of intent by the EDC to move forward with entering into an agreement over the next 60 days. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion
Good job.
passes. Congratulations.
Amen.
Yeah.
For those who may not have been here earlier, this is a major, major move for the city of Texas. I mean, the city of Orange, but we are in Texas.
I think the heat's getting to you.
Yeah, we're getting big now. Hey, we're moving though.
Moving on up.
We're moving. Okay, on to item 14B. Consider a motion approving action taken by the Orange Economic Development Corporation concerning the newly created position of Events Manager / EDC Assistant at a job grade 32, exempt position and entry pay of $25.75 per hour, plus benefits to be funded by the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. Okay, so again, this is a follow-up to the earlier EDC meeting. I do want to emphasize that in terms of the caption, these two funds are restricted funds. Hotel Occupancy Tax and Economic Development Corporation have % sales tax. This position has no impact in terms of property taxes that each of the residents pay for the City of Orange. It is a split position where 50% will be funded by the Convention and Visitors Bureau. The other 50% will be funded by the EDC. So subject to your approval, we'll post the position and then we'll move forward. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
When will this position be posted, and where can people locate the information so they can apply?
We'll post it by the end of the week.
Okay.
Potentially the Orange Leader, the County Record. We'll use social media in terms of a Facebook post. The city website, of course, has the employment tab where we'll create awareness from that perspective.
Thank you.
That's so moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On
Thank
to
you.
item 14C, consider a motion approving the replat submitted by Cove Baptist Church for properties located at Lot 12, Lot 13, and Lot 14, Block 5 of Gilmer's First Cove Addition into Lot 13A and 13B, Gilmer's First Cove Addition. Mr. Knopf.
Yes, sir. The Cove Baptist Church would like to take 3 lots and replat them so that they become 2 lots, and then they would like to sell one of the lots. This issue went before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the commission recommends approval.
So moved.
Okay. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 14D, discussion and possible action regarding necessary business resulting from Hurricane Harvey. Mr. Knopf.
There is no report on this.
Okay. Reports, interim city manager report. Mr. Knopf.
There will be a joint meeting with the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council on July 9th at 5:30 p.m. In this room. We have another replat that's being requested. Also, city offices, except for essential personnel, will be closed on July the 4th. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Knopf. With that being said, city council report, starting at my right.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming and joining us with this momentous occasion. I don't think we will be able to see the huge effects that it will have for Orange, but it will be a continuous bonus for Orange. And again, like the doctor said, we're setting a precedent for this area by building one like that, and I see many to come. Also, I'd like to ask Mr. Knopf, is there anything the council needs to take action on to repair the air conditioning? If so, I suggest an emergency meeting.
That's high on my priority list. That is the first thing on my priority list. Yes, sir, we're going to get that taken care of.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want to thank Ms. Gotro and Dow. Thank y'all for supporting your new community. Love having you here. That's all I have.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out, and also congratulations to our new family members that are joining us. Miss Mary McKenna, she's not here, and Miss Caroline Hennigan. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I'm excited. I see a bright future for Orange, and I'm totally excited to be a part of it. Thank you.
I just want to welcome Caroline as well, and I want to thank y'all again. So that's it.
That's it. Well, I want to welcome Ms. Carolyn. I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for those who have stayed and sweated it out with us. We greatly appreciate you. Even though they aren't here anymore, thank you to Ms. Hausman. Thank you to Dr. Rutledge and all of those who are helping us with this new medical facility. Thank you to Chief Brown for your presentation. And thank you for all of your questions and concerns. Orange is moving forward. There are things that are definitely happening here that I know is God-led. Sometimes people may not understand it. Sometimes they may have false information. But please, before you make a statement or an accusation, it's okay to ask a question, because you may find out that things are different than what they seem. So God bless you all. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
And for those of you who haven't been to the Orange fireworks on 4th of July, you are missing a great event. So come out and see it, because I've been told we're better than Las Vegas.
Down.